I've cast a lot of spells in my life, but the most powerful ones didn't start with just pretty intentions and some incense. They usually started with a meltdown of some kind. I'm Solanox, and today I want to talk about pain, meltdowns, and how they can actually be the start of your strongest magic. Now, I've said this earlier this week elsewhere, but every spring I notice the same things happening. As the world thaws and the flowers bloom, I start blooming too, and I start stretching out towards more connection. My heart wakes up, and sometimes I want a new fling. Sometimes I'm just looking for more time to connect with other people. But all of that wanting to connect, it feels like hope, like those flowers just starting to poke up through the frost. And that's part of spring. It's not just planting new seeds. It's about remembering that as human beings, we want to grow and we're wired for connection. Desire itself is sacred. What wakes up in you every spring? What patterns do you see? What stirs inside your heart? What's wanting to spring forth and, dare I say, manifest? Ooh, manifestation. It's a buzzword these days. Baked right into the name of the store here, Keys to Manifestation. We even talked about it in church last week. And we talk a lot about manifestation in witchcraft, in modern paganism, New Age, whatever you want to call it. And we talk about it like it's this glamorous, glowing thing with vision boards and baths under the full moon, crystals, candlelight, journal your dream life into reality. And, I love that. I do. It makes us feel good. But here's the truth that most of them are not telling you. The spell begins with a meltdown. Real magic doesn't start with just a pretty picture. It starts with pain. We don't change because we just want to. Sometimes, but usually we change because something hurts, because change is scary, right? And it takes some kind of impetus to get us to move. And for me, the most recent one I can think of was last year when I went on a cruise. It was a witch's cruise. Now that sounds like fun, doesn't it? Witches on the water. And I thought it was going to be great. And I was so excited to go and to hang out with people. But I got sick and my body started to shut down. And as my body went down, so did I. And I started having reactions that I didn't want to have over things that didn't seem to matter, freaking out over little stuff and struggling to stay calm with people that did not deserve any fallout whatsoever. And so I recognized what was happening, that I was not showing up the way I wanted. And so I shut myself in my cabin and I isolated, pulled away, didn't go to the rest of the workshops, just tried to let it blow over. I was trying to be the best version of myself, but I couldn't. And that was my wake-up call, my fire alarm, telling me that I was not doing enough to take care of my physical self. And it's been a little over 6 months since then, and I have been working really hard over the winter to rebuild my physical core with therapy and exercise, trying to clean up my diet even further, getting rid of more allergens, and looking at what I do around here, trying to restructure things so that I can thrive without sacrificing my health. At its root, that's what a meltdown is. It's not a tantrum, it's not drama, it's not being dramatic. Somebody who's having a tantrum, their system is sounding an alarm. I can't do this anymore. It's our mind and body's last resort when it hasn't been heard. And if we can stop treating meltdowns like shameful failures, failure to behave, and start treating them like messages, that's when that spell work can begin. And most of us who deal with neurodivergence feel shame around meltdowns, I know. We feel it coming on. We feel that sensory overload, the emotional shutdown, the short fuse, the way your words start disappearing, and all you want to do is hide away, right? But I've learned something. Instead of trying to push through that feeling and ignore it, I'm better off removing myself from the situation causing the meltdown because I'm an adult and I have the right to do that. Even if it means leaving in the middle of something that I promised to do, even if I can't quite tell anybody why, even if it's something as silly as I've got to go change clothes right now because my clothes are causing a sensory issue that is causing my body to melt down. Pull myself away from the situation, give it a chance to calm down, and then look at it and say, why? Why did this happen? What was it that overloaded my system? And what can I adjust next time to stay ahead of it? Maybe that's adjusting something in my environment. Maybe that's adjusting something in planning. Maybe that's adjusting something in me myself to change something. That's not weakness. That's wisdom and strategy to take that pain and listen to it and then take action from it. That's one of the real lessons of the warrior, the root chakra energy of Mars and Aries that we're in right now. At the same time that we're in this rebirthing energy, we're in this fighting energy, and a lot of people get uptight with it and angry, but it's not just fighting for the sake of fighting. It's fighting for survival, fighting for what we need to survive and thrive. And that is manifestation at its rawest, at its absolute base. It's not about just getting whatever you want. It's about being able to become who you need to be to handle what's coming your way. Pain's not an enemy. It's a message. Sometimes it's just a whisper, hey, this is a little uncomfortable, something's a little off. Sometimes it's a scream, I can't take this anymore. Either way, it's trying to tell you something. The question is, will you listen? And that's what I've been trying to do this year with my health, with my work, with my balance and things. We talk about balance a lot too. I've spent a lot of my work time this year sitting at this desk right here, taking my own crash course on marketing and media and all the things, trying to find the voice that I'm using right now, to find the courage to speak like this, to make sure that people know that we're here, that people who live right up the street from me know this place is available. And the truth is that I did not want to do that. I didn't want to dive into the metrics and the Google advertising and performance and metrics, all of this stuff, but I had to. Because the pain of staying stuck and not changing, the pain of possibly failing and losing everything that we've built here, that was worse than the pain of trying something new, of fear of learning something new. And you know what? Over the last week, I've started to make some advertising that's worked, and with messaging that lands, and maybe it won't always, but boy, when it does, to me, that's a spell that works. That's magic to me. And that's all a direct result of listening to the pain of a meltdown. This week, we're finishing up the runic fortnight of Yira on the Wheel of the Year that we use for stuff here. Yira is the rune of harvest. Harvest takes time. You reap what you sow. It takes labor. And it takes learning what the soil and the seeds really need, and then changing how you care for them accordingly. Changing how you care for yourself. Meltdowns don't mean that you're a failure. It just means that something's gone wrong with your growing conditions. So if you're in pain right now, if you're breaking down, melting down, shutting down, you're not broken. You're just getting a notice that it might be time to bloom, to change. And you're standing at the edge of your next spell. Breathe into it. Listen. Ask yourself, what is one thing that I can shift today? What's something that I can stop pushing through? What can I do differently next time? The spell begins with a meltdown, but it doesn't end there. It ends with growth and balance, and with a life that actually works for your body and your mind and your soul. And that's your magic. That's your harvest. That's manifestation. If this message landed with you, I want you to know that you are not alone. Like, comment, and share like we do online. Just take a breath and sit with it. Come on in and see us sometime. You can make magic here too.